Good evening, everyone. Oh, good evening. How are you all? If the dogs suddenly start barking and I have to rush off, it's because I just have to go and let someone in through the door. It's 6:15. It's wine o'clock. You're lucky to even get this. Nanny Di was going to be joining us tonight, but she's had her flu jab and she's feeling a bit peaky. And I feel like I'm coming down with flu. Does anyone else feel like they're coming down with flu? I've got terrible cough, terrible throat, incredibly chilly, pain in the chest, all that kind of stuff. Have you got it, Funky Kids? Hi, Funky Kids. Hi, Claire Cummings. Hi, Jess Film Stuff, Sarah Perlmutter. Wide Tooth Comb. This is to do with Greece, I think. I think this came from Sky. So many people feeling poorly, Kim Lakides. Yeah, apparently in the schools, it's just diabolical, isn't it? Yeah, so send all our love to Nanny Di. Hi, Mikey Mark. Hi, Steph Schultz. Hi, Steph Schultz. Evening. Hi, Ellie Denning. Ellie Denning, it always sounds like a pop star's name, Ellie Denning, doesn't it? Is it because it's Ellie Fanning? Is it maybe? I don't know. Evening, Lynn Sheard. Anyway, we're here. Oh, God, so hard to be. I thought, you know what? We need to say hello. I need to say hello. I've missed you for the last few days. Moment Princess of Wales confronted during royal visit in Northern Ireland. Oh, God. Moment Prince. How are you all? I've missed you in the mornings. Nadia's been doing a really reliable job. Hello, Tony Dunsford. What are we going to be talking about? I can't even remember what we've put on the thingy. What have I put on the thingy? Oh, they're going to ban. There's talk of them banning the phrase ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about Have a Go Heroes. Have a Go Heroes, because there was an awful situation that happened in the East End of London today. Well, in the City District of London. Awful. Off the back of Nadia talking about whether our streets are safe. Awful. Just an awful. I'm not meaning to make light of it. It's a genuinely awful thing. Oh, thanks, Katie Travers. Julie Hilton, you're off to Crete tomorrow. You might want to check in on our. Well, no, don't check in on our yoga vlog, because of course there's a bit of turbulent flying. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the fact that they're going to start filming. You remember the Alec Baldwin story where he accidentally shot the cinematographer? Developments there. They're going to make the film, believe it or not. We're going to talk about how eating oily fish maintains your brain. Oh yeah, it does. I think we all kind of know that, but it's yet another report says it. It's just like, if you think of oil trickling through your brain, you sort of think, yeah, my brain's going to be good. And blackouts. But I just wanted to say, was it Geraldine? Who was it? Geraldine, who was talking about posters they found in a box somewhere in Margaret O'Brien. Margaret O'Brien was talking about an old poster she found. I think I saw somewhere. What's your most memorable poster from when you were younger? Tell me what posters you remember from either being a student or when you were a teenager. I'll give you mine whilst you're trotting yours out. I used to take the pages out, the portraits of the footballers out of Match magazine and Shoot magazine. Do they still publish them? Shoot and Match. Used to pin them all over the wall, the footballers. I had a Star Wars poster hanging from the middle on one of those sort of things that had a weight thing at the top and bottom. When I was a student, I had Beatrice Dahl, was it, in Betty Blue? You know, that photo of her with a gap in her teeth with a cigarette, looking incredibly suggestive. Oh, look, here we go. What have we got? Nicola Higgins, my AHA posters were everywhere. Ellery Jones, you missed Mental Marquee. Maybe Mental Marquee needs to make a bit of a comeback. Jess Film Stuff, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I now have Friends TV show. Lee, how the bloody hell are you, Lee? God, I feel bad for complaining about feeling shit. You've been through the ringer. I hope you're all right, matey Flip. Really do. What did you have on your walls, Lee? I mean, posters-wise. Shakin' Stevens, Pink Lady. A David Beckham one, says Jordan Stevenson. Jason Donovan, Funky Kids. Me Tube. Wish I'd been in your room. The Raiders of the Lost Ark movie poster, I had that for years on my bedroom wall. Trying to think of another one that I had. Oh, I used to have Taxi Driver when I was at college as well. Do you remember in the 70s, the 80s, there was the Athena man holding the baby. Do you remember? My first girlfriend was obsessed with that. She so wanted me to be like that, but I just didn't want the baby to go with it. Uncouth Amy. I collected wildlife posters. Didn't know how odd I looked having a hedgehog and badger on my walls instead of pot bands. I'm a gardener now. Well, you obviously you like nature, you like the greenery of the world. I also had a Francois Camenzuli. I also had a Nokotob poster. New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block, of course. What else did I have? I had film posters up. Oh God, you had a Michael Owen poster, Leanne T plus. Just films. I also have some Marilyn Monroe. Bros, Sally the Queen Bee O'Sullivan. So did you have sort of split loyalties with Kay and Matt Goss? WWF, The Rock, Ellie Denning, loved him, still do, to be fair. Mandy Nanny, my sister had Bay City Rollers, and when she stayed out, I took it down. What? Because you were embarrassed? That's too funny. Wasn't allowed to have any Deb Smith. What did you used to put yours up with? I used to put mine up with drawing pins. Do you remember that? Drawing pins. Blue tack was I was way before blue tack. Adam and the Ants, Karen Lind. In fact, I think I had an Adam and the Ants. I was a big one for tearing bits out of magazines and sticking them on walls. Jurassic Park, Christos, the first one. Fantastic. I was obsessed with prints, posters everywhere, Fiona. When you go to university or college or wherever, maybe you don't go to, but when you're a teenager, what you have on your walls is an outward expression of who you are, isn't it? It's how you want to be seen by your peer group. It's how cool you want to be. It's how it says everything. It's like chopping you in half and reading your inner rings like a tree, I think. Anne Ged, I think that was her name. Babies Dressed Up. What's that? Lee Peart, I had a poster of Stephanie McMahon from WWF, World Wrestling Foundation. That's not the one. Stephanie's not the one that Florence Pugh's in the film that's based on her life, is it? Is Stephanie a female wrestler? Is that the film? If it is the film, Fighting with My Family, Lee, please check it out. It's so fucking good. Joy Clark, Simon Le Bon and Elvis, Kim Lakides, Wham. Yeah, my girlfriend had young Elvis, Alice Cooper. But my girlfriend also had not only young Elvis, she also had Care Bears. Was anyone into Care Bears? I know we're moving off the wall now. So I was quite keen on nailing things to walls, like Care Bears. Nail a Care Bear to the wall, then it does care. Care Bears. Oh, 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. No, I know. Yeah, don't tell anyone, Kay. Yeah, Nats doesn't know you're here. No, shh. Yeah. No, we'll go and do some dancing in there in a minute. Yeah, just go in there. What? Yeah. Wayne. Look after Kate. Kay's just come over. Nadie doesn't know. She's come over for a bit of a dance. Hey, I've caught a live. Woohoo, Superction. Love your name. I'm sure we're all showing out. David Castile or a walk up. Anyone here got a Cliff Richard poster up? God, sorry. I'm trying to overcompensate for the fact that I feel like absolutely death dressed up. George Michael, Becky Fithian. I love your name. Donny Osborne. Oh, guys. Billy Idol, guys. Okay, well, look. First things first, I'm going to kick off with this. This is weird. Who believes we have wild cats in our country? Like big cats? Like who thinks we have like the beast of Bodmin Moor? Or the cat of Croydon Corner? Or the pussy of Pimlico Pathway? That kind of thing. What do you think? Do you think we've got one? Check this out. This was filmed by teenage campers. They saw this while camping in the Peak District. Josh Williams and his friend Ben Burns, are you ready for this? Filmed this near a place called Jacob's Ladder. I think I've been there, in the Peak District. Check this out.
I can't tell what it is. Any noise?
That is not.
I can't tell what it is. Any noise?
Oh. Fiona Cromack. My husband spotted a black panther in Doncaster. Mark, it's a cow. I don't think so. Let's have another little look at it, shall we? Look. So this is what they filmed. They're suggesting that it was eating something, probably an alien. Let's have a look.
I can't tell what it
Is
is.
its long tail? I don't know if it is. It's a dog. It's a dog.
I can't tell what it is.
Anyway, Josh Williams was with his friend. They said the creature sounded as if it was feasting on the carcass of another animal, possibly a dead sheep. Josh said he was convinced it was a big cat and resembled a panther, but couldn't be entirely sure if it was actually a chihuahua. No, I added that bit. It's given birth and it's licking a baby. That's 100% a panther. Looks like my cat, says Miriam W. Steffi Quinlan, pretty sure I saw one near Wooded Air in the early morning. See, that would be exciting, wouldn't it? Well, would it be exciting? Would it be exciting to meet a panther? Nah, it really wouldn't, would it? No. Aliens, says Jess Films. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think people sit in one of two camps, don't you? You either really want weird shit to happen to you, like alien abduction, or you just don't. And I'd love it. I'd love alien abduction. I'd love to be taken up and probed. Why are sheep not bothered? Sheep aren't bothered by diddly doo-doo. Apart from gates, sheep are bothered by gates. That's why they jump. Mandy Mullet, do a COVID test. I'm going to. No, because they kill my dog or kitten, says Ellie Denning. I know. Well, there you go. Well, as you rightly say, so teenage campers, maybe they've taken a few too many mushrooms. I don't know. But, that was it. That was the clip that we were talking about. I want to talk about Have a Go Heroes. Have a Go Heroes. This is based off the horrific story that in the rush hour this morning, three what are they? Standby? What are you called when you're standing by? Bystanders. Three bystanders witnessed an attempt by thieves on bicycles to nick mobile phones. Three people tried to bundle the thief to the floor, and three people were stabbed repeatedly whilst trying to stop this street, basically mugging or burglary or whatever. Lots of eyewitnesses say they saw lots of sort of savage, whipsawing of arms and lashing out of limbs and all this kind of stuff. There was a lot of blood. Even an old woman in her 60s was kicking, pushing, and shoving the aggressors. But they had to cordon it off, and lots of people. They had 3 ambulance crews, 2 paramedics, incident response officers, all the works, and there was a lot of blood. Fortunately, there has been no report of any casualties. But let's think about this. Nadia was only talking about this yesterday. Thanks, Misso. I think the reason this kind of really disturbs, especially Londoners. This was just a mobile, not just, it shouldn't happen. But over the years, let me finish my thought. Whenever I've been down Oxford Street or whatever, the one top line I would give to anyone coming into London and standing on a street in London, if you're waiting for a bus and you've got your phone like this, and you're just about to do something, I say it to the girls all the time, and they've got earphones in, cyclists will just come along and whip the phone out of your hand. It happens. I've seen it happen so many times. I've seen girls pulling at their ears when the earphones have been yanked out of their ears so hard. Lots of blood in this instance, ishbalality. And, the standard practice is if someone threatens you or comes at you for your wallet or your phone, you just give it to them and you deal with everything afterwards, insurance, or you cancel your cards, all that malarkey. But 3 people stabbed with copious amounts of blood. There's a wildness out there. And I also sense it and witness it just in cars, people driving. People are getting irate if they so much as have to hit the reverse button and go backwards for a little bit, or if they have to pull in and wait to let someone go. There's a sort of increasing sense of fury. But I wanted to ask, would you, and if so, in what set of circumstances, would you step in and become a have a go hero? There's no judgment here. There's no judgment whatsoever, because I think we can all easily say in the safety of our homes or wherever we are, yeah, I'd step in if I saw something. But when you're in the situation, I've talked many times about the one time I stepped in to stop a man from hitting his wife, girlfriend. No, it was probably his girlfriend. He was holding her savagely around the neck, pushing her around, and he slapped her. And I drunk too much. I leapt across the pub, said to a friend of mine, Chris, look, have you seen this guy? Pulled him off her, pushed him, bundled him out of the pub. Me and my friends kind of, that turned into whatever it turned into. And then the woman proceeded to then have a go, started to hit me. I mean, obviously I shouldn't have got involved. I thought I was being a have a go hero, didn't I? It's like drink. Oh yeah, I can, ego, all that bollocks. But even when that happened, there's a prickliness that comes to your skin because suddenly you know that you're putting yourself in a position to become a target. Leslie S., it depends on the circumstances. You see, even now, if you were on a bus in London and when me and my mates used to jump on a bus, we were a pain in the arse. But there's no way on earth you could have looked at us and thought we'd stab you. Now you get on a bus and say 3, 14, 13-year-olds get on and they're scallywags like we were, and they say they're rude or they hassle or they give abuse to someone. You step in and say something, you could be stabbed. You could be stabbed. You could call the police, but the problem with the police is if you're in a confined place like on a bus, you call the police, you are alerting everyone that you're calling the police, and immediately you become a target anyway. I think it has to boil down to whether you think the person alongside you or near. I mean, my line is, because I suppose being a father of daughters, is if I see anyone being abusive or anything to a woman, I would step in and say something. But even like driving around London, Nadia gets so irate with me if I ever so much as, if someone's genuinely cut you up or done something dangerous and you are, legitimately using your horn, boop, boop, she goes nuts because she's like, you just don't know. Someone's going to get out and stab you. My Little Peonies, I'm in a wheelchair. I won't be able to defend myself. Never mind anyone else. Fair point. Jordan Stevenson, if you step up, you've got to think that potentially you could seriously be hurt doing it. Exactly. And also it's that weird fact, isn't it, of youngsters who go out with knives to protect themselves are more often than not injured by the very knives they've taken out. So you may well get yourself hurt and someone else. So could the argument be that you need to find a way to alert? It's when you're in one of those moments where, I think stealing a phone, for example, I think you would probably have to let it go. Though sometimes, excuse me, that must be awful on the old headphones. Sometimes you don't even think about it. I can think of occasions where you've instinctively gone to do something because perhaps you feel close, you feel in control of the situation or something, and you reach out and you do something. Bev Berry, happy birthday for your 44th birthday. Ruthie Tootie, I would call the police discreetly. Yeah, fair point. Me too. A friend of mine did step in when a woman was being harassed. He ended up having to punch the harasser and ending up being arrested. That's the other part of it. Ellie Denning, unfortunately, I act before I think. Incident happened on a train. I tried to step in vocally, not physically, and I regret it. I should have stepped back. It doesn't always go the way you want. Well, in fact, it rarely goes the way you want. And I think you just have to be the judge of, or one of the other things that you can do is suddenly pretend to befriend someone or sort of pretend you know them or something like that. Try and find an innovative way to kind of get in and intercept things. Kerry Gracie, man went for my neighbor a few weeks back. I talked him out of it until the police came. I didn't think of the circumstances. Adrenaline took over. I panicked after, though. Yeah, there we go. What about the people who tried to stop the gunman in Thailand? 40 killed, Mandy Nanny. There's stuff going on in the world that's just awful. So yeah, so have a go, heroes. Be mindful before you step in. It's not like the good old days where you kind of come in with a sort of bag and hit them repeatedly. Obviously, there was a 60-year-old woman metaphorically hitting them with a bag, as in the old days, and she got stabbed. So, be careful, be careful, be careful. As I said earlier, filming, I'm only mentioning this, I'm going to talk about it in more detail in the weekly rushes, but I was just so shocked. The film in which Alec Baldwin shot the cinematographer, they're restarting production of the film. The cinematographer's husband has dropped his lawsuit against Baldwin and the producers. Her husband is becoming the executive producer of the film. They're resuming the making of the film, I guess, they've all decided, as a tribute to Helena Hutchins, the sadly passed away cinematographer. And I don't know why. I just found all of that a bit odd. What do you think, guys? I just found that all a bit odd. I suppose in one sense you could say, I am a believer that no one set out to kill her. But as the state of New Mexico says, just because the family have dropped the lawsuit, it doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't going to be that Alec Baldwin and the producers aren't going to be liable for some criminal proceedings against them. If the state or county believe that there are reasons to charge for them to face criminal charges, they will charge. But this is separate to Helena Hutchins's family. I'm guessing that must be a huge weight off Baldwin's shoulders, and there must have been a lot of kind of discussions happening in the background. I know that Helena Hutchins' husband said something along the lines that he didn't want to keep sort of, you know, here we go. He said, I have no interest in engaging in recriminations or attribution of blame to the producers or Mr. Baldwin. Bless him. I guess her husband must have just felt the fury of grief, and in his grief, the fury of loss, and subsequently has decided to actually, settle with the producers. Her husband is now exec producer. Absolutely, Faith Goodman. You're absolutely right. Ashley Garner, did you hear about the jumper Kanye West was wearing? A White Lives Matter jumper at Paris Fashion Week. No, Nadia mentioned this. What was he playing at there? White Lives Matter. Deeply ironic, do you think? You guess, or perhaps in his own way, trying to make some kind of comment. Will anyone actually want to see the film Catherine Hamilton? Well, to be honest with you, Catherine, I hate to say it. I think it's just there, sweetie. I hate to say it, Catherine, I don't think this is a cynical reason for why they're doing it, because the husband is involved. But I think there will be a huge audience to see the film, because it will be known, sadly, and rather in a grisly fashion, as the film on which the cinematographer sadly got shot. So yeah, I'm fed up of seeing and hearing about Kanye West, says Steph Schultz. Laurel Nichols mentioned it, and Gina O'Shea mentioned it and said to stop supporting Kanye. All right. So do you think he was wearing it as a genuine appeal for white lives to matter? God, you'd think after so much sort of progress that, things like that could just turn things around, couldn't they? Yeah, so filming of Rust. As I say, I'm going to go into that in more detail in the weekly rushes this week. Power cuts. Who secretly likes it? I don't mean anyone likes it. Oh, My Little Ponies. That makes it feel like a snuff film. I must admit, I find it, I'm going to talk about it more, but I found it odd. I didn't just feel, that's okay, that makes sense. Didn't really make sense to me. Happy birthday, Cloda. Happy birthday to you. Oh, it's not Cloda's birthday. It's Bev's birthday. Sorry, Cloda said it. Bev, did I say happy birthday to Bev? Bev, happy birthday to you. And Ian and Michelle. Michelle, I hope you've received my voice note. I hope you have. What was I going to say? Blackouts, power cuts. Okay, forget the absolute seriousness of a power cut. I mean, we might be able to do lives with you. None of us will be able to run our homes and all that stuff. But is there something do you think a power cut could be just what we all need? I mean, we've had a pandemic. Do we all need to sit around a candle and sing Kumbaya? I wouldn't mind blackouts for a few hours a day, Mitri. Would it be an enforced? I mean, presumably they're going to happen. Well, mind you, if they happen at night, there's not much point because there's not much usage, is there? I mean, National Grid have said in a worst case scenario, we could have 3-hour blackouts, and they would be sort of scheduled for different parts of the country. Joy Clark, I used to love power cuts in the 70s and 80s. I don't remember them, but I'm sure I would have loved them. We had one several years ago before we were on the channel, around 2018, 2017, and Maddie just said it was lovely. She just loved it because all bets were off. Nothing was working. All the power had gone. Your Wi-Fi's gone. It's just power cuts can be really exciting sometimes. Candles and back to basics, says Jogging Jelly. I love that name, Jogging Jelly. Margaret O'Brien, I remember them in the 70s when I was a teenager. I'd love that, Ellie Denning. Lee Durrant, I agree. Time away from TV, back to the old days and speak. Yeah, we could get little kind of cups and put string on them and try and talk to neighbours through them. Go, Ray, do you hear me? Love connection. My medication's in the fridge. See? And as soon as you start to have a feeling of, it'll be nice, you suddenly realise how crucial everything is. You're absolutely right. There you go. Medication in the fridge. Hospitals. I think they'll be able to prioritise hospitals. But how would they prioritise? How would they prioritise knowing whether people have to keep their medication in the fridge? Paula Fretwell. I wonder if you fret very well when you're worried. Paula Fredwell. Sorry, I'm not feeling too great, so I feel like I've got asthma. It's terrible. So yeah, blackouts. I think that will be worse if different areas at different times. How will we do coffee moaning? Exactly. So blackouts are possibly coming. Just to add to the next level. Can I just ask you, who does anyone trust in truss? Just say yes if you trust in truss. There must be someone there who trusts in truss. Sonia Cloder, Mischief, Egan Donovan. I wouldn't like a blackout. Who trusses in trust? You know what? I'm not going to talk about eating oily fish because we all bloody know that oily fish is good for your brains. Good chip lollipop. Oh, look at that. I've never seen so many no's. No one here trusses in trust. Oh, God. Do you ever do that? And it tickles your lips so much that you just want to cut your lips off. Local councils are guided. Okay, this is one of those stories where, okay, is this a step too far or is this not a step too far? Councils are recommending that the phrases mum and dad and ladies and gentlemen are no longer used. Mum and dad or ladies and gentlemen will no longer be used. Now, before we get cracking on this topic, I just want to say, I remember at school hating it when actually people would say, when you go home, tell your mum and dad. When you get home, tell your mum and dad. Because I didn't have a mum and dad. I had a mum and her girlfriend. I didn't want to say mum and mum. I didn't want to say parents. And I didn't feel offended, but I felt outside of the status quo. Do you know what I'm saying? But Elsa Pop, you hear this and you think, well, that's going a bit far, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen. Now think about it. Ladies and gentlemen. Have we, in this gender fluid age, have we moved on from such phrases? Local Government Association has advised, rather than using the term mother, using the term birthing parent. Other banned terms in the document that's gone out to various local authorities is, some of them are terms like second generation, the homeless. I can understand some of these. Economic migrant, deprived neighborhoods. Rather than saying welcome ladies and gentlemen, people who are not ladies or gentlemen may recognize the difference, feel included, and that they belong by saying welcome everyone. I can live with that. It also tells council staff not to refer to disabled or able-bodied staff, and that a colleague's identity or personal background should only be referred to when it's relevant, necessary, and or led by the person. So it's another one of those, again, it's one of those headlines that's kind of like, oh God, it's all a bit ridiculous, isn't it? It seems like we're going too far. And then you sort of drill into it and you think, what about travelers? You sort of think, what's the sacrifice? I mean, birthing parents, I think that's a step too far. See, within this, I think birthing parents is a step too far. I don't mind mums and dads, but let's face it, a huge number of families are no longer mums and dads. So I think parents, I tend to say when kids come over or friends of the kids come over, I say, oh, who are your parents? How are your parents? What's your parents? All that sort of stuff. What if you're adopted? Good chip lollipop. Guardians? Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you're absolutely. Why can't they just say parents? Welcome humans, says Faith Goodman. But yeah, I think birthing mother is a bit much. J.K. Rowling has been protesting about Nicola Sturgeon, hasn't she? Any Scots here? I think Nicola Sturgeon has changed. They're changing the rules in Scotland so that you can identify as a woman legally within just 3 months without needing any medical sort of ratification of this. I think it's felt by J.K. Rowling and other protesters that this erodes the sanctity of being a woman. It's a huge hot potato. It's one of those topics, again, a bit like reviewing the Blonde film, where you worry that if you step into it at all, you could make a huge mistake and you don't mean to. What if you don't know the birthing parent, says FPL Fozzie? I know. I love your name, though, FPL Fozzie. Yeah, exactly. What if you don't know the birthing parent? Very good point. Welcome, you lot. The world is going completely mad, Leslie Kelpin. Well, there we go. Well, what I'm going to leave you with tonight is this. I'm going to leave you with this. This is curious. Who likes turkey? Anyone here like turkey? Check this film out. This is just a wild turkey. Well, it's just a wild turkey you want to watch a wild turkey? Come on, let's watch it.
If you wanna go up.
This is a turkey that's broken into someone's house. Smashed through a window, as it says there. Trashes a living room. They go in to get it.
Here, I'll be
Hate turkey to eat. Love tea live ones, says Marcia Toms. Love to eat live ones. Look.
Oh, the window broke.
So this is,
Through the window.
it causes, they're pretty big, but I've always thought if turkeys decided to turn against us, we'd be in trouble.
Oh, I feel so bad for it.
Here we go.
I feel so bad for it.
Feel so bad for it. Well, you can read, you can hear her
probably
saying it.
hurt.
We'll shut up. Yeah, it is stress. They do try and rescue it, don't worry. Look, they've got it in a net. This is to rescue it. Look at the size of it, but listen to what happens. Look.
They just run out. It's out.
It's a wild turkey. Is it coming back? Where is it? Is it coming back? Whoa. Imagine if it came up to the door. Look, they haven't unlocked the door. What about that? What about that? What about a wild turkey? Is it true that turkeys, they gobble, 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 when they look up, they drown if it's raining? Anyway, I thought we'd leave you with a wild turkey clip. Nothing better. Chicken run, turkey run. On that note, I'm going to go and lie on the sofa. That made Sky News Sarah Withington, and it also made And Finally. So we will see you in the morning. For members, we were going to do a members live straight after this, gobble, 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 with Nanny Di. I know you like them with Nanny Di, but we will do that tomorrow instead. It won't be straight off the back of Coffee Moaning. We will, Faith, be doing the Friday quiz. It'll have to be an early one again tomorrow because I'm filming. So yeah, so have a lovely evening, guys, and see you tomorrow. Go and check out. If we're up to it, we will do Married at First Sight later tonight. It might just be Nads. I might just be killed over in a corner somewhere. Lots of love. See you, Stacey. Better.